All right, last time on A Crown of Cold Iron, our party has been preparing themselves both to investigate this mysterious warehouse on the north side of town, but also they have discovered that within is potentially a portal to Faerie. So, two birds with one stone. They are attempting to investigate what exactly has been happening, which seems to have involved some of Oryx's silver dragonborn cousins, formerly a Fae street gang, and some mysterious unseen force that drove the gang out of the warehouse. It also seems to have some connection to what appears to be literal trafficking of humans into Faerie. And all of that's well and good, but Cyrus in particular is looking for a way into Faerie to go rescue his mentor, Mort, who has apparently been either incapacitated or in some way held captive there for a couple of months now. So we left off with the party negotiating with the Weirwood, the street gang that formerly controlled the space, to provide a distraction, and then catching up with Vela Blackthorn, Oryx's significant other, who is potentially going to be traveling with you all, and was giving you sort of the rundown on what to expect and what to pack heading into Faerie. So, I think we had mentioned the possibility of buying some additional items. I'll say for mundane items like camping kind of equipment, just grab whatever sort of mundane items you think you might need, within reason. Most of those cost less than like 100 gold total, so do that. And do you want to specifically look into any specialized items from the Blackthorns, or do you want to purchase anything from Midsum Pawn and Fine Goods?
More healing potions.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you all blew through those quick. So let's see. It's only been a few days since you were last there, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been that long.
Real life, it's been like months, but game timeline.
Well, I'll tell you what. Unless
we
you
didn't buy any, because how long wasn't there a time gap when we got out of the Raven Palace?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've been back shopping. I thought we bought all those before we went in. I didn't think we'd.
I don't know if we stocked up again after
Yeah, I don't
that.
think we've
After
been
we
back
got
since
out.
before the Raven
Maybe we
House.
haven't.
So I was thinking it had been a couple weeks.
Okay.
Well, what we'll do. Here's what I'll say too. Unless you all are looking to purchase anything else on the list, if you're shopping, the Blackthorns would be able to set you up as well. Since we did leave you in Vela's house, so it's not really
Right.
a long jaunt.
Go away.
Costs 2 gold apiece. Therefore, I am going to buy 82 sledgehammers.
That sounds very, very dangerous.
It also, on the one hand, I know it intentionally sounds silly, but it also has just a little bit of that air of like, it sounds silly to the DM, not knowing the player is looking at some specific spell. And it's like, okay, if I combine Big B's grasping hand and 82 sledgehammers, I can do 3,000 damage around.
So I love that there's this bag of bellstones. My brain immediately went to the bag of ball bearings that.
Don't diss the ball bearings.
What was your character's name?
Tasselhoff.
Tasselhoff. Yes, the Tasselhoff ad. We're just gonna drop some some bell stones on the floor like marbles, and
No, I don't think I need any sledgehammers.
you don't need any sledgehammers.
Not least of which because it would be 820 pounds of hammer.
Narratively speaking, you might want to pick up some bath potions.
Yeah, I saw that. Because we might get dumped in some mud.
Yeah, I think
I was looking at the contingency band as another like healing bonus.
right.
Yeah.
Also, I don't remember buying. There was something in here with my name on it, and I don't remember getting it.
Which item?
The Ring of Misdirection.
I feel like somehow Auric ended up with that.
I did end up with that, yeah. And I've used it too.
Okay. If we've got it, then that's fine. I didn't remember. I was like, it's not on my sheet, so.
I don't know if maybe you bought it and said, here, please use this to stop dying.
Maybe so.
And I just threw in chat some additional items that the Blackthorns would have.
Okay.
There's a whole lot of stuff on that list that I'm not going to be touching. So are these rings of seeming the counterparts so that Lexi and Cyrus would look like Fae?
So because Fae are visually more distinct, it's really more about setting the magical aura correctly.
Okay.
Because humans are sight-based.
Right.
But in Faerie, like, the mushroom's a Fae, the tree is a Fae, the candy cane with an axe that's chasing after you is a Fae. That will sort of attune your magical signature. It will give you advantage on checks to persuade someone that you are Fae, and it will give them disadvantage on perception checks to discern that you're Fae.
How does the dust, is that an action to use?
That's an action, and that's going to be a that'll be 10 foot by 10 foot.
Okay.
Your mysterious text interrupted Vela during dinner, so she is rapidly finishing her food.
Fair.
Can't decide if I want to have just a normal cold iron weapon as backup, or go for the like weapon treatment to be able to use it on our fancy stuff.
So, Vela would be able to tell you. I mean, either option is going to be good. One thing to bear in mind is that while a lot of Fae are vulnerable to cold iron, the bigger effect is that a lot of Fae, some of their more unique abilities sort of shut off if they are hit with cold iron. Not indefinitely, it might only last for just a little bit, but it will. It could potentially buy you an opening, at which point you could switch back to a different weapon.
Does that work for? Is it ranged too? Like, can I get a 50 gold for cold iron arrows, essentially?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think Cyrus is interested in probably a ring of seeming, a cold iron blade, and a cold iron bow, just as backup. So that's 400 for me.
Also, they're going to have 9 healing potions. And 6 greater healing potions available.
I was gonna say I have plenty of money, so
I can afford 3 healing potions.
Oh yeah, are we just paying for this out of the suitcase, out of the giant suitcase of cash, or are we?
Oh yeah, there is a giant suitcase of cash.
yeah, it's
in
a
there.
giant suitcase of cash right now.
I was going to say, that is sort of your all's current resource pool.
Yeah. And then there's like my 3,000 gold
Yeah.
that I haven't spent. So
Lexi is making armor out of gold coins.
sounds about right.
And regular healing are 50, and greater healing are going to be 250.
And you said it was 9 and 6.
Yes. Yes.
Math.
Does anybody recall how much is in the giant suitcase?
No.
No.
Hang on. That.
That would certainly be enough to buy all those healing potions.
How much is it? It's
21,000.
21,000. Okay.
Would cost us just under 2,000 to buy literally all of the potions.
Mm-hmm.
Is your bow a long bow or a short bow?
Short. I don't think I can use a longbow. I don't think that comes in rogue proficiencies.
Not normally.
I'm basically making placeholder items real quick.
Okay.
They're not fancy, but they'll have to hold for now. Anything else y'all are buying?
Yeah, I'm putting together my list right now and I'll send it in a second.
No worries. So I think narratively,
Oh, and I was gonna ask, what did you say we needed to do to like? Did we need to like hide the cold iron, or?
You probably are going to want it in a like an extra dimensional space.
I have the bag of holding.
Yeah, partially because it's going to make partially because it's going to make certain creatures unhappy with you, but also because it's going to have potentially some weird effects with the portal. So I think narratively, Vela has brought you all to. There's essentially there's a student store, sort of within the academy. There's sort of multiple levels. There's like the gift shop, which is for like parents to buy like their Blackthorn Academy sweatshirt, and you know, I'm a proud parent of a Blackthorn wizard.
Yep.
Coffee mugs, you know. So there's that.
My
There's
child and my money go to Duke.
Yeah, it's playing the evocation exhibition championship match between Blackthorn and Hallowith Academy. Anyway, so there's a student store that has more of sort of the basics. It's going to have like introductory texts. It's going to have like components they might need. You see lots of like replacement arcane focuses that are very, very cheap. And students can use both actual gold marks or they can earn credit within the school for doing different things. There is also like a staff armory, essentially. Theoretically, it's there so that you know the teachers and the sort of higher level staff can go pull things they need for classes. But there's also some things there for them to purchase as well. And Vela is kind of giving you all her like staff ID card and letting you go shop back there.
Get the discount.
Yeah, there's not so much like the other two have like an actual like cash register counter kind of setup. This one actually has like an arcane sentry, and it looks very. It's very much like Welcome, Miss Vela. How can we help you in the armory today? But you all would notice that, like, there are just lots of little touches that make you think, this thing is full of weapons. The little steward is, like, full of weapons and magical abilities, and it would make someone's life very, very bad. So,
Well, in that case, while the two of them are shopping, I am poking at the steward.
what I was going to say, the room probably where Cyrus is going and looking at this stuff is, like, even further back. They wouldn't just keep the cold iron stuff sitting out. They are not overtly antagonistic with the Fae currently, but there's also this sort of Blackthorn mindset you've run into once or twice of, like, we're never going to forget. We're going to be ready. And so I think Cyrus opens a door. Auric, are you in human form or dragonborn form?
I think probably Dragonborn.
As soon as he opens the door, your scales itch, even from, like, way on the other side of the room.
So you got some cold iron on him, bud.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Do we need to get you some Benadryl?
I don't like that.
Just some what do they call the anti-itch cream? I don't remember.
Give me some Epsom salts.
Cortisone, that's what. Or the oatmeal bath that you take when you get chicken pox.
Grab a couple of coins and start scratching my scales with them.
Do you need a bath potion? I was going to purchase some of those.
I'll be fine.
The thought did immediately occur to me. At some point in the past, the Blackthorns definitely researched how to give a virus or bacteria. They wouldn't have called it that. They would have called it plague magic. But they would have researched how to imbue it with the essence of cold iron, for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Based on precedent, it probably didn't work super well. Like it. Actually, I won't say anymore. You'll find out eventually. We'll put it that way.
Dun dun dun.
All right. I have purchased some healing potions as well as listed some things that I want personally.
I think there were only 9 regular healing potions.
Okay, well then I'll take all 9 of them if there's only 9. There.
The steward seems not at all surprised that you're just opening a briefcase full of, like, you know, a stack of $21,000.
Yep.
There's some kind of, like, magical fraud detection / counting thing, and it just, like, as soon as it gets the totals, it just reaches out and, like, taps the stack of money, and exactly the correct amount just evaporates. And if there's change, just, like, a few little coins, like, tinkle into place.
I am suddenly very fascinated by its ability to do that. Do we have a minute?
Do they have any other bags of holding?
It's a good question. Give me a D4 roll. Yeah, they're going to have at least one. Those are going to go for. Those are going to go for 600.
Okay.
Those are highly desirable.
Mhm.
Well, we have one, but we can definitely afford a second one. So
I can't remember how much space, if it'd be worth having a second.
let me see. I've got it in mine. It can hold,
I know it's 500 pounds.
yeah, it holds 500 pounds.
If Mort can hold his breath,
We can stick Mort in one.
I mean, I'm just saying, I wouldn't necessarily assume that Mort breathes. This feels like a question that Cyrus probably has thought about, like in the intervening time. Like, have I ever seen Mort breathe? And you're just not sure.
Right.
You know, you're like, surely I would have noticed. But then you think about it, and you can't conjure the image to mind of Mort just like. One advantage on having multiple bags of holding is that if you have to pull weapons out of there in a hurry, I believe it's an action to remove something from a bag of holding.
right?
You would essentially have to like be like, hold on a minute. That's yours. That's yours. No. 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 Oh, that's breakable. There it is.
Yeah. So we could have the main bag, and that could have all of Lexi's weapons, and then Cyrus could have a bag.
Yeah,
And then that way also, if we need a second for hiding stuff.
right. Makes sense to me.
Okay.
Sometimes I very stupidly go to like look up something on D&D Beyond, and I'll type in like, you know, I was looking up cold iron shortbow, and I typed cold, like that wasn't going to pull up like 15,000 things.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
So after having watched the steward handle the money, I pull out a gold coin and I spend a minute casting Oryx Bed of Gold.
As soon as you finish casting, Vela realizes what you're doing and turns around and tries to like smack the coin out of your hand, but it's too late. This giant pile of gold appears, and the sentry, which has been very calm, it just has sort of like a neutral face. Suddenly, like eyebrows appear, and it's like illusory currency detected. Illusory currency detected. And you start to see like blades coming up out of the arms, and like there's a low pulsing red light, and Vela's like, Blackthorn override, Blackthorn override, and it like gives you one last like override accepted. Please refrain from using illusory currency in any of the
You
Blackthorn
counterfeit bitch.
mercantile locations.
I mean, I knew I wouldn't believe it because the coins are very obviously fake.
Yeah.
So the interesting question is, how hard is it going to be to program the Brawler's Ring?
I don't know.
All right. Do we need to figure out a plan for the warehouse?
Oh,
So our
that
main
was actually
priority is
super
just
easy.
getting in, right?
Yes.
And I guess it's a question of, are we like trying to mop up? Are we trying to beat up everybody that's in there?
Who
Is that
knows?
kind of what we agreed with the weir, or are we just like taking a couple pot shots and then? Because we could just like go straight for the portal, but I don't know if we need to like help them
Right.
clear it out so that they're the ones running the portal when we come back through.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we should probably help them out and not just run through and ignore everything.
Okay.
So rescue any hostages that we find.
Well, that too.
Okay.
Just looking at my character sheet and reminding myself, oh, you're lawful good.
Yeah, you're gonna want to help people.
I mean, there's also a lot of just sort of reasonable ulterior motive of like, as Cyrus pointed out, if you leave them in control of the portal, you're almost definitely going to need to find a different way back.
Yeah.
Another another issue is theoretically, if the portal is just sitting open and you're able to go through, there's nothing to stop them from following you.
Truth.
At which point you will spend your entire time in Faerie with enemies in front of you and behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't necessarily need to go loud, but we definitely need to clean up behind ourselves.
Yeah.
Leave it better than you found it. Boy Scout motto.
Which is probably a little bit too true in this case.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm trying to drop all the items in y'all's inventories. I'll let you figure out your own potions because they are preset.
Lexi bottom all. It's just a question of how much
Yeah.
you're sharing.
I mean, I was gonna say I can hold on to them and dole them out, or do we want to each have some so that we can take them ourselves without having to?
Probably good for each of us to have at least a couple.
Okay. Well, since I bought 9, because that's how many they had, 3 to each.
For each.
Yeah. Where do I add that? I have to manage inventory.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
And I think I remember we're just sending the group. We're sending them like straight for the big loud doors to make a distraction, and then we're like coming in from the other side of the warehouse, essentially, since there's not really other sneaky options.
Yeah. I mean, they're basically just going to like use some noisy explosives, but probably not enough to like, they're not going to like damage their own warehouse. But they're basically going to set off like super loud, more substantial than fireworks, but it's going to be very, very, very loud and noticeable and give you all a minute to get in there. And Vela is coming with you all, right?
She said she was either going to go with us or send somebody with us.
Okay.
And I did actually still have 2 healing potions. I just couldn't find them when we were talking about it.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, you all went through them like they were water, but you also had a lot.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I've converted my briefcase to just hold healing potions now.
Yeah. Hold on. I don't believe this.
I mean, I could see that. It would just be like little, like a foam insert. We'll drop Valus token on.
Okay. 3. Add items to equipment. And then move, please. Thank you. And then add items. Child. My goodness. Healing. And I bought 2 greater healing potions. Did you get something else to do that? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm coming. Sorry, I got things I gotta do, baby. Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
So, and then I've been thinking about it, and good idea or not, I think I've decided Cyrus is concerned enough about Mort that he is gonna try to stash the cold iron rod in his bag of holding.
Oh.
I do recall you mentioning wanting to do that last week.
I think I was weighing the risk, and I'm like, no, I think Cyrus is concerned enough. He wants that as an ace up the sleeve.
He's putting the thing in,
Just keep it away from me.
putting the weapon in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now I'm gonna find the rest of my things. Oh, child.
Cats.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to go ahead and attune to the rod?
Oh, I forgot it required attunement.
Well, we got time.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, you are now attuned.
Okay.
So, and I'm gonna grab. I can't remember if I put it back in the vault or because it's on my sheet if I've been keeping it with me. But he's also gonna grab the Shiofra's dagger.
All right.
And add it to my messenger.
All right, y'all ready to head to the warehouse?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
All right. So, you all let Maine know. Actually, there's a little bit of phone tag. It's Lexi texting Maine, texting Charles, and then stuff happens. So you all let the Weirwood know and they start to head in that direction. I assume you all are you gonna take Pokey? Or are you gonna walk? Public transit?
Um, I don't know. Should we go to?
I don't imagine public transit would get all the way to the warehouse.
Right.
I mean, people have to work out there. You're probably walking a couple blocks.
True.
Okay.
This is fantasy. They have good public transportation.
It's true.
Did you all end up buying a second bag of holding?
Yes, I think we did.
I just
Yes,
wanted to take a
Cyrus has
second to
it.
emphasize this is a really cool, like, they didn't do like the old timey bag with drawstrings kind of vibe. It's like a modular, like rearrangeable, very modern bag. It's vaguely like cylindrical in shape, but it's got different places where the straps can be sort of restrung to make it like a backpack, a shoulder bag. It could be like shortened and almost held like a briefcase. It's a very cool design. It's got multiple openings. All right, so you make your way there. The only reason I asked about Pokey is last time you all did something like this, Pokey at least had several tickets that were resolved for you, but
Right.
Yeah, it might be a good. That was what I was thinking. Was how long are we going to be gone? Should Pokey be put someplace where
actually, I'll
Pokey's
tell you,
allowed to park legally forever?
Vela has a Blackthorn car brought for you.
Okay. We can just take Vela's
Very
taxi
discreet.
service. It's fine.
Yeah,
Pokey can.
There is like a standing fleet. You don't know how many, but Auric, you would guess like you've seen at least a dozen different drivers, and the cars are like subtly different enough you started to notice. You would guess there are at least a dozen of these cars just like waiting for a Blackthorn to need them all over the city, with a driver just sitting there waiting all the time. So yeah, you all are brought there. The drive is very smooth. The driver is very polite. You're dropped off wherever you would like. And where is that? Where would you like to kind of situate yourself to the warehouse?
Probably at least a block away, right?
Yeah. That's what I would gather.
Not too close.
So the warehouse is in a sort of industrial area of Falmouth. It's actually not super far from Lewes. It's the kind of distance you probably wouldn't want to walk regularly, but like you could. So it is as advertised. It's a giant square blocky building. It seems to be made out of some kind of like cheap brick, or possibly that's just a veneer over something even cheaper. But it is fully like occupying the equivalent of probably like 4 city blocks. Like it's a large building. There is an actual lot in the back. Auric doing his monk thing.
Yep.
Tony Shalhoub monk, not.
Yes.
So yeah, warehouse, blocky industrial design. It's exactly as described. There's more of a loading area on one side, which is set up for sort of tractor trailers to just back straight up to it. And there are sort of neatly sized ports where that can happen. You see a couple more like universal ports in several places. They're a little bit wider. And then you see some just sort of normal sort of functionally it's all sort of employee doors. There's really no other reason to be here. So you all have sort of arranged ahead of time. The Weirwood have gone to a corner. They are prepared to rapidly set up and deploy some explosives. So how do you all want to enter?
Careful.
I imagine they would have told us whereabouts the portal is.
It's relatively close to the center of the warehouse.
Right. So I'm thinking delivery doors.
Yeah,
Sure.
that sounds good.
All right. You all are able to sort of move up to these more sort of universal size delivery doors. How are you approaching? So we've said where, but how?
Casually. Single file line. No, I don't know.
Assuming there's nobody outside, quietly.
Yeah,
All right.
like we belong there.
So
Totally not sneaky.
I want to have you all. Everybody give me a perception check, and everyone give me a either straight up deception or deception charisma if you want to, or sorry, stealth charisma if you'd like to go that route.
So perception and
Perception and then
stealth or
either
deception.
yeah, deception or stealth / charisma.
Okay. 17 on perception and 12 on stealth.
I rolled a natural 2 on my deception. I have +7 and I got a 9.
Wow.
So 14 perception, 9 deception.
Or
All right.
trips.
9 perception, 22 deception.
So even though it is a not ideal entrance, I should have had you all just roll with advantage. But you all approach, and right about the time someone might be like, huh, I wonder who those people are. There is a thunderously loud explosion on the opposite side of the building. And instantly all attention is focused over there. And you all are free to sort of attempt to make it through this gate, this port. So it doesn't seem to have like a magical lock, but it does seem to have a sort of everyday kind of fancier than a padlock, but not much fancier. So you're either going to have to blow it or make some kind of check to open it.
Yeah. Can I try to pick it
Yep, go for it.
with my mage hand, just in case?
All right.
$24.
Yeah, you easily.
Like that lock.
Yeah, it's just like. And you all are able. So the lock comes undone. Do you just want to go ahead and pop it open?
Yeah.
Slow, fast, quiet, loud.
I guess quietly.
All right. This is going to be a strength check.
Ooh. 12.
All right. It's not the smoothest. You definitely get it open, and as it gets towards the top, you realize you've put just a little bit more sauce on it than you meant to. The sort of track that it runs on is actually in really good shape. It's been sort of oiled and everything, and you get it about up to your waist level, and you're like, oh, it's going too fast, and you try to like slow it down, and you kind of do, but there's definitely a little bit of a as it like clicks into place up at the top. You all are now inside, and I will remember to drop you on the correct map before I start describing it.
Very important.
So you all are in the bottom left corner.
Ah.
Let me...
I see something, but I cannot really see because I need to move my zoom.
See, I'm moving-
Hello,
there we
I
go.
see things.
So, your vision is largely blocked by just row after row after row of shelves. You seem to have come in, obviously, on like the storage end. You vaguely get the impression that to the north of you, there is a more sort of open space. But looking down to the east of you, it's just rack after rack of large boxes.
Sounds like north.
Yeah.
Stick together. Do you want me to scout?
Yeah, I know.
Scout, but not too far ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think I've done this to Lexi before. So this time Cyrus will yank out a fingernail and hand it to Lexi. Be like, you get the token this time.
Could you not have clipped it?
I just kind of give Vela a look like, do all humans do this?
And so I'm going to start sneaking about 25 or so feet ahead.
All right. I should make more use of these. With your passive investigation, as you walk through, you just sort of notice, even though there's a lot of they're like wooden crates and cardboard boxes, even though there's a lot of them, you notice very quickly there is a lot of dust. Nothing has been moved on or off one of these shelves for quite a while. And then give me an actual investigation check.
So it's almost a nat 20,
Ooh.
but it's a 2 for an 11.
I feel like there is some kind of weird karmic something that, like, when you get really good at a skill, that's the one you always roll twos on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And your friend with -1 intelligence gets the nat 20 on the, Arcana check or whatever. Yeah, so you spot the dust. You can see that there are lights dangling down. And we'll lean on your passive a little bit more. It seems like some of the lights up above are out. Again, this is one of those weird life things where Cyrus is a little bit familiar with sneaking through warehouses. And this one is a little bit dim in places in a way that is odd.
Okay. All right. He's gonna like, try to get up about here so that I can actually see up.
All right. So you give me a perception check, and Auric, give me a luck check.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Just straight D20?
Yep.
Ten on perception.
Well, we're fucked. Oric's luck has run out.
4.
So you hear Auric, Cyrus, you are very focused. You're like looking around like, okay, where's this portal? Who's guarding it? Who is in this place? What's going on? And you're deep in focus, like looking around. And Auric, what are you doing as you have sort of entered this space?
Looking after Cyrus and also looking to the west, back and forth to make sure that nobody has spotted us.
Give me a perception check.
Oh boy. +0 perception. 19.
All right. You hear a weird sound. You're like, again, you're fairly close to these sort of entryways. And you're at sort of a corner of the building. And Vela is still standing pretty close to the wall, kind of looking around. And Auric, you're sort of creeping up on this corner. And you hear almost like someone tapping on the wall. But these are really thick brick walls. Like, you shouldn't be able to hear someone tapping on these walls. And you have just enough time to sort of process that thought in your head when a slender, pale, delicate-looking arm fully passes through the brick and the concrete to grab you by the back of the neck. And you hear a voice yell, "I found you! Finally!" You perceive this. Lexi, what you see as you whip your head around is part of this wall has just been blasted away through brute force. Vela is pushed back and knocked to her feet. And I guess I'll have to shift you slightly to make room for her. An elven woman with long golden blonde hair steps through the dust and the debris of the wall and has a vice grip on the back of your neck, holding you a little bit up off the ground. Everybody roll for initiative.
I think there's been a misunderstanding.
I looked at the
There's my nat 20.
here's your nat 20. Let's see that I have. All right. 14.
All right. So this seems appropriate. Auric, you are first, and we're in initiative. I don't want to imply that you have to resolve this with violence. All I'm implying is that there is a sense of timing and urgency that has become quite important in how this unfolds. So, you have this pale. I guess you can't see this. You just have the impression of like surprisingly slender fingers grabbing the back of your neck and lifting you up. What are you gonna do?
Big.
I'm sorry. I believe there's been a misunderstanding. Who do you think I am?
A silver dog of Lambton.
No, I hate that guy.
Lies.
I. What? I don't even know what to say. I hate. I mean, hate's a strong word, but Lamb Chop and I are not friends.
So you've got about, I'll say you've gotten out about 6 seconds worth here.
Yeah.
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Yeah. So an 18.
Oh wow.
Pretty good.
I rolled an 11 and a 12.
Yeah.
Your neck is not like immediately broken. Are you going to take any action to go with this? Or are you just going to kind of like do like the kitten being picked up thing? Like,
Shoot. I think I am actually going to switch to human form, which will probably really confuse her.
all right. So you use alter self. You drop your scales. And we'll see how she responds to that on her turn. Cyrus, you hear a definite like. There is a sound of like movement and voices coming from further, like towards the center of the map.
What you do?
But it's not your turn yet. Stuff happens. Lexi, you're up.
Okay. So my gut reaction is to try and free Auric. Not so much to attack her, but to try and free Auric. So don't exactly know what sort of move that would be.
It feels like a grapple check, but then also like a strength performance check to do it while conveying a lack of hostility.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll call
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
that. Give me an athletics check.
Okay. 21.
All right, let's see. They got a 25.
Oh,
You
fuck's
are
sake.
not able to budge Auric.
Please don't break me.
You sort of get a hand up, and again, this woman is like 5 or 6 inches shorter than you, and you would guess, I mean, like Lexi is a, I think we've sort of said like athletic, leaning in towards maybe not quite bodybuilder, but like
Getting there.
Yeah. This woman looks like she probably weighs half of what Lexi does.
Yeah.
But when Lexi's hand, which, the rest of you have seen Lexi like, punch through like demons with this hand and like shatter things and just, and reaches up, and it's almost like a like mechanical vice. Like there's just no yield whatsoever. And even like as you try and pry the grip loose, you notice like literally her skin doesn't yield. Like when you put your hand on her, on a person, like there's a little,
Right.
little give. There's no give. It's like she's carved out of steel. Actually, give me a perception check with advantage. That
19.
19. Oh yeah, with advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you catch this. Not only does it not yield, there is very subtly something wrong with the texture. You don't think it's an illusion because it looks right. It like matches what you're seeing. There's almost just the faintest hint of like additional texture. And I think you would only be able to place this because you have spent a lot of time with Auric. There is just like the faintest hint of scale, like unyielding scale, very, very fine on her skin. So you tried to pry him loose. I'll say you can make another attempt, because you can make 2 attacks. So,
Okay. So do another athletics check.
yep,
Well, that sucked. That was an 11.
26.
Yeah, not happening.
The second attempt yields even less than the first, and she just fixes you with this look of like you're not even important. And she actually says, "Human, don't try to stop me. You don't know what he's done."
I don't know what I've done.
You still have a bonus action and movement left.
Okay. Oh, the only thing bonus action is rage, so I think I'll wait on that. see if we can talk a little bit more. Then I'll rage. So yeah, so I don't think I'll do anything else other than ask, well, what has he done then? Or what do you think he's done?
Actually, this will be a good time for it. At the no, we'll wait. Cyrus, so you're sneaking along. You are making your stealth entry. Whatever the equivalent is of like the Mission Impossible theme is like, sort of playing in the back of your head. And then you hear a massive, like, it sounds like another explosive has gone off. You hear this scattering of brick and concrete. There is a cloud of dust partially obscuring your vision, and you hear a woman you've never heard before, and Lexi and Auric all sort of yelling, echoing through this big empty space. What are you going to do?
I'm going to turn back around. So, can I see what's happening behind me?
I think so. I think it's not. Yeah, there's you probably don't pick out like fine detail, but you recognize the silhouettes.
Okay.
Although I suppose from where you're looking, it looks like Vela has disappeared.
All right. Cyrus is going to come back down the hallway, and he's going to say, ma'am, I'm going to need you to let him go because we need to go rescue the people that were actually taken to Faerie, which he did not do. And I am casting suggestion.
Oh, okay. What's the saving throw on that?
It is a wisdom 14.
Interesting. So what was your exact phrasing?
I need you to let him go while we go rescue the people who were taken into Faerie, which he did not do.
She burns a legendary resistance. And you all see something around her flickers. And from where you're standing, there's a shadow sort of being half cast behind her. There's a light hanging down about where you are, and so you can see it sort of painting her up against the wall in shadow. And for just a second, her shadow warps. And it's not the shadow of this young elven-looking woman. It's the shadow of something massive. You get the impression that you're only seeing like part of the head at a great distance. And you catch a glimpse of smoldering red eyes. They literally look like red orbs of fire looking out at you from within this shadow. And your suggestion, you see her start to look confused, and then you see these eyes, and it rattles you for a second, and the suggestion snaps. She yells, I have seen the children. I have seen what you've done. I don't know why they are lying for you. But this ends now. That shadow stretches out from her until it's like something huge is blocking out the light from above. I'm going to need each of you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Nat 20.
Very nice.
Ironic. You would think you would be the one to be scared in this situation.
I rolled a 2.
Vela saved, so you've got that going for you.
Yeah.
Both of you are frightened for 1 minute.
Does that still mean I can rage?
Good question.
Yeah, you can't move closer, and you can't. You have disadvantage while you can on certain things while you can see her, but it doesn't prevent you from doing anything.
Okay.
I feel like there was something in older editions where you couldn't rage if you were like if your emotional state was out of whack. But anyway, that's not important. I mean, I guess you would. I'm just going to tell you this narratively. I don't know how you would know this. I guess on some level you would just have this idea of like, I need to get away from her.
Okay.
You are not compelled to run, but you can't try and break frightened
Right.
until you get 30 feet away, and then you
Okay.
can. If you end your turn more than 30 feet away, you can repeat the saving throw.
Okay. Okay.
So I think Cyrus will actually already be 30 feet away, but all right.
Lexi's definitely not.
Yeah, I came within 30 feet because that's the range of the spell, but that's as close as I came.
It is Vela's turn. This is going to be interesting.
Angry girlfriend.
Yep. About to see some spell slots go.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I think her first reflex, she is going to stand up and she is going to upcast Scorching Ray. She can do it as a level 3 spell. So that means she's going to fire 4 rays. Oh man, I forgot. We've been playing this long enough that Vela is the old model of spellcaster and doesn't have like the super convenient oh no. Oh no, Vela. Oh no. Oh no. She rolled a 4, a 1, a 4, and a 12. Oh no. So Vela had a bad reflex in this moment. So you see these 4 bolts. She stands up and is infuriated. She does not like getting thrown around. And she especially does not like people like lifting Oric up off the ground and choking him to death. So she fires these rays. One of them connects, dealing 8 points of damage reduced to 4. The other 3, you see, Lexi, you know how you felt that like hint of scale?
Yeah.
The other scorching rays, like, they scorch her clothing, but it's like they hit her skin, and they actually bounce back. And so Vela is going to make 3 attack rolls against herself as her own scorching rays fly back in her face.
Ow.
She's going to throw a shield spell and manages to like bat them aside. She is very surprised by this. And in her shock, she says, first she says, "You will put him down right now." And she fires the bolts. And as they come back at her, you see her just like frustrated, but also confused. You immediately see her trying to like figure something out. Oric, you are literally up.
Yes, I am. With all of the everything happening, I feel like I want to know if I know who this is.
Give me a history check with advantage.
$16.
So I think you're sort of flailing just enough to sort of be able to like see her over your shoulder. This is the woman in the photograph that Lambton sent you.
Oh.
Yep.
This is who he called an agent of Lord Taurus, who has something to do with the humans going missing.
So I'm just going to think out loud to allow her to hear me. I knew Lambton lied to me. That jerk always lies. He told me that this one was stealing people, but no.
Give me, this time we'll call it a flat persuasion check.
I rolled another 2, so 9.
Good lord. Put these dice in some timeouts.
This pisses her off.
As one would expect.
She, at the end of your turn, she stomps her foot and says, sorry, before she stomps her foot, she says, "Why won't you stop lying?" And then when she stomps her foot, you all remember an oddly shaped crater in the basement of Banner and Norton's as you were running for your life.
Is that the same woman? Because it sure looked like the same tile.
Yep, that's a very familiar footprint because you don't often see a like woman's a humanoid woman's shoe shape imprinted into concrete. It leaves an impression, you might say.
Boo.
So everybody within 10 feet, which is actually, I guess this is just Lexi. This was way
Sweet.
overkill on Lexi, but Lexi, you need to make a strength saving throw. Ooh. You take 23 points of bludgeoning damage and
23
fall
points?
prone. Yep.
And I have not had the chance to rage yet.
Nope.
Damn it.
And this scatters concrete and bricks and boxes. And it comes tumbling down. Nope, that's not right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was right. And this is now difficult terrain right here.
Great.
Lexi, it's your turn.
All right. Lexi gonna rage.
All right.
Lexi's mad. She's scared out of her damn mind. She's also really mad.
Whoops, I didn't mark. You are still frightened.
Yep. So with her voice shaking, Lexi says, "Well, if you won't be reasonable, then I guess we'll just have to put you out," and attacks with the Ancient Brewer's Mallet,
All right.
which is a 22 to hit.
But you're going to roll it with disadvantage because you are frightened.
Oh, man. 16.
16 does not hit.
All right. Well, I'm going to try again.
Well, I'll say, or rather, it does hit, but it's just like hitting a metal pillar. Just clank.
So I guess both of those are with disadvantage, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So then I rolled an 11.
As long as you're frightened.
Yeah, I'm...
Yep. All right. Cyrus, it is your turn.
All right, what the heck? Cyrus is going to go, "We do not have time for this." And he is reaching into the bag of holding. He is pulling out the rod. And he is attempting to use it on her.
So I'll say this before you do this. Um, you would know that the rod specifically works on lower challenge rating Fae.
Oh, okay.
It
She is not.
will probably not work on her. If
Okay.
she's giving you all this much trouble, she is a big deal.
Okay.
Give me a perception check with advantage. So we'll sort of narrate this. You are sort of rifling in your bag, looking for something useful. You have a, what are they called? Is it Nalgene? Like the big clear sort of drinking
Yes.
water things? You've had one of these floating around in your bag for probably every bit of 2 months. And it takes you a second to place where you got it, because when you're sifting through your bag, the water in this Nalgene is glowing gently with like golden light. This is water that was given to you by Abbess Vance before you went to the Hall of Light to confront the fiendish warlocks.
Okay.
Pretend she's the Wicked Witch of the West and you're Dorothy.
Just throw it on her, you think?
I don't know. Or knock her out. I don't know. I mean, those things when they're full of water can be quite the weapon.
Well, and I'll say, it's not glowed up to this point. This is new. It only seems to be reacting here.
Okay. All right. Can I? Oh, wait, but I can't. I'm frightened.
You can still act.
But I can't move up to her.
Are you far enough away now that you can?
It would be at the end of his turn.
Okay.
Unless, I mean, is it one of those that if I break line of sight?
Specifically, you get to repeat the saving throw if you end your turn 30 feet or more away.
Okay.
But I'll also say this. If you want to try and throw this, I think you could make that work.
Okay.
So she's just knocked Lexi to the ground with this horrible stomp. Just blasted back some of Vela's own magic. Still has Auric sort of held up. And you pull this out. And there is a moment of confusion of like, why do I still have this? But there it is. What was handed to you 2 months ago. Now glowing strangely. Do you want to sort of uncap it and sort of throw the water, or do you want to try and throw the whole thing? I do feel like throwing a full Nalgene is as dangerous as many D&D weapons.
Right. I guess I'm uncapping it. We'll see what happens.
All right. So, with this sort of golden glowing liquid, you whoosh, and the water just it actually it actually splashes out in a way that is immediately obviously unnatural. They tend to have like that smaller opening, and so you wouldn't expect it to make it. It's almost like as you fling it out, it's like a lash of water, and the water whoosh, and it doesn't like hit her with force. It's just these golden droplets, and they just sort of like spray across her and Auric. The second it touches her, Auric, you suddenly are falling to the ground, and her arm is wrenched by your weight. And immediately the anger sort of goes out of her, and is replaced by a almost disproportionate amount of fear. She says, Why did you even have that? What? Holy water?
Is it again?
So that was we'll call that an action to pull it out and throw it. Anything else you want to do?
Listen, we don't have time for this right now. We're not the people you're looking for. We have people to rescue. We got to go.
You can see that this sort of golden light-filled water is almost like sizzling off of her. And she is, just to give a cultural comparison, this is kryptonite. Like, this is the immediate effect of this. And she sort of backs up and says, what does she say in 6 seconds? She says, they saw him. They saw him take the children from the hospital. They said it was a silver dragonborn who took the humans away.
Ma'am, he's not the only silver dragonborn in this town.
But he's one of Lambton's.
He's also not the only one of Lambton's in this town.
I'm also not really one of Lambton's all that much anymore.
Lexi and Cyrus wouldn't know this, but like Auric, you would know that there's a bit of a question mark on that.
Yeah.
Usually those sort of hierarchies are sort of hard and fast. And like, not just individual loyalties don't tend to change, but like, this is a fealty that your family, not just like your immediate family, but like your whole sort of clan has held for countless
generations.
Yeah. that she would identify you as one of Lambton's is not an unreasonable thing for her to do. But she is badly weakened by this, and has sort of like fallen backwards. So I guess I'll put it in your all's court. Ignoring initiative for a second, what do you all want to do?
Keep going.
I'm going to look her straight in the eye and say, I will happily speak with Lord Taurus after I have rescued these humans. This is your last chance to stand down.
I'm still going to let you make a persuasion check with advantage. Although I will say, you see like a flicker of anger cut back through the fear. She is not someone who lets herself be intimidated.
A pair of fives, come on. So 12.
It's time for the dog to have his medicine, and he's not going. And since he's not going, Chelsea's going to keep yelling down the stairs. Go. Go. Anyway, even with that relatively... Go upstairs.
No, I don't want the medicine. I do not want.
He literally gets a treat for every eye drop. Come on.
Treats are the best.
Even with that relatively low roll, she is not right this second negotiating from a position of strength. And so she sort of stands up a little wobbly, but is eyeing you all still suspiciously, but not in an immediately hostile way. You can actually see now when that when she got hit by that, her appearance mostly didn't change, but you can see that it seems to have disrupted a very subtle illusion that was hiding two like forward pointing horns. And I would say those weren't in the picture, but Auric, you recognize this immediately. There are only two beings you know of that have those horns. One of them is Lord Taurus, and the other one is his daughter. This is Marta, the daughter of Lord Taurus, a Fae lady in her own right. And right in this moment, you see Vela, her eyes get about this big. Like the horns are the last piece of a puzzle. And she goes, Taurus. They call him a dragon lord, but he's not a dragon, is he? And Marta sort of shakes her head, swaying back and forth. The telltale, straight, sharp, black horns that are distinctive of a Tarrasque. So we're going to end there for this week. We'll come back next week and continue in the warehouse and figure out what to do with Lady Marta, the half Tarrasque.
I was fully expecting to fail that and have to try to cast banishment on her.
That could have gone very, very interestingly. Just like I was sort of expecting Suggestion to go. Tarrasques have advantage on saving throws against magic. And when they succeed on saves, the caster has the spell reflected back on them. But she rolled very, very poorly and had to blow her only legendary resistance. So, we'll pop back up here next week. I'm going to kill our recording.
Recording stopped.
End our stream.